All praises to Enoki said, who is loving kindness, who is our Heavenly Father. Coming to you once again with Luke 10 and 19 amplified power over all the lies of Satan, who has no power. This world, our dunya, and if it was Martin Lawrence saying it, but I'm not Martin Lawrence, but if he was to say it in one of his movies, our dunya has become a world full of real life Linda Blairs and Harry Potters, man. Revelation 18, the header reads, the saints are called out of Babylon lest they partake of her sins. She falls and is lamented by her supporters. Lamentations 4, 21-22, CV version. You people of Edom can celebrate now, but your time has come to suffer and stagger around naked. You made yourself naked. The people of Zion has paid for their sins. And though he said has allowed us to return home, me and Zion. But people of Edom, you'll be punished. Your sins exposed. Revelation 18:1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power. Therefore, was lightened with his glory. Oh, this is a game they play today, people. They can't do nothing new, so they just do the same old recycling of wickedness every day to try to. You can't frustrate the work of God. So now today, the game they playing again now is I'm clicking on the precepts, and what they do, they not let it pop up. Same thing they do over and over again. They gotta be frustrated. Not to me though. These devils. Because they done fell to such a low. Only thing they can do is play games with technology. Then I say that it pops up. Ezekiel 43:2. Behold, the glory of God of Israel came from the way of the east. His voice was like a noise of many waters. The earth shined with his glory. You cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen. And is fallen. Become a habitation of devils. And hold of every foul spirit, ward, prison. See, those people that's demonically possessed, they're in prison. In Babylon, in your churches, in your politics. Book of Mormon, chapter 4, verse 52 and 53. And now with the purpose of the people of the covenant to no longer be deceived, when in the last days, you before Enoch returned with his city to this land. The watchers who were driven out of the vicinity of earth will send signs to the children of men, Israel, and all over the world. But I'm going to continue. With the promise of ending their diseases, their religions, and their false prophets in the scriptures, and their false messages, and provide them with an alliance. Psalms 83, Sealed Book of Mormon, little book, chapter 3 and 15. And their covenant must be national and world citizenship. And thus, with the support of Satan, Esau, and Japheth, the rulers of Idumea in their domain, they will again come to be among you, the invitation of the rulers of the earth for Idumea. And granted, they will enslave the sons of Idumea again, whether you Jacob or not, if you following them. Except in Sion. In Sion, they can't capture us nor put us in prison. Temporally or spiritually. For my only begotten will have coated his elect with power from on high, to overcome the forces of the enemy, to rescue those who are loyal to me. He cried mightily with a strong voice, and Babylon the great is fallen, become a habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, prison, war, the cage of every unclean and hateful bird, wards, prison. That's what this message is going out to. The spirits in prison, in Idumea, that can hear. Come out of her, my people, lest you suffer in her sins. 1 Peter 3:19, by which he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. Still portion chapter 90 and 64. And now I've seen the latter days in the nation of the United States, not America, but the corporation of Europe, on our lands, only here, by their own confession, to provide the essential governmental services for the American Israelites. But they gave you the fictitious world that they was ruling everything. He was living in their corporation, in prison. And now I've seen the latter days in the nation of the United States, which is the most wicked nation upon the earth, in regards to those who seek it to enslave the souls of the children of Israel and other men. So they might get gain and not required to work by the sweat of their own brow. Going to sealed portion, chapter 87. Before I go there, they playing the games of see, same thing they always do. Why would these? I'm not frustrated. I'm just trying to tell you, why would these people always continue to try to stop information that's already been given? Most High's word has already gone forth, but they're always playing games like they're gonna stop something. Then now I say they pops up again. Now they slowing the computer down. You can't stop God's word. But that's the only thing they done. This is how far they falling. Only thing they can do is try to play games that I ain't playing with. I refuse. James 4:7. So be subject to God. Resist the devil, stand firm against him. He will flee from you. See, they perform witchcraft. Witchcraft is a noun. Witchcraft, magic. See, craft, power, skill. They ain't got no power. That's based on lies and illusions. Witchcraft is declared a crime in England in law. Still a crime. Most High said, suffer not a witch to live. From Wicca, see witch. Witchcraft was declared a crime in England in law in 1542. At the beginning of the Protestant era. Only thing is, the Protestants and the Catholics, they're all the same. All religion is witchcraft. Trials, they were peaked in 1580s, and the problem was they was trying to say the true children of God were the witches. When they're the witches. Trials, they're peaked in 1580s and 1640s. Fell sharply after 1660. The last in 1717 ended in acquittal. The Witchcraft Act was repealed in 1736, Lecky, Rationalism in Europe. 1866 examines Hutchinson and Buckle. It concludes that the belief in witchcraft and sorcery had been common in England, even among the most educated at the time of the Restoration in 1660s. By 1688, the majority disbelieved it. By 1718, the minority was reduced to the ignorant, the insignificant section of the clergy. Cræft is a noun. Power, physical strength, might. High German cræft, German craft, strength, skill. Old Norse crafter, strength, virtue. The ultimate etymology is uncertain. Is you witches, you Europeans, and you Africans. There's Hamites from Nimrod. The sense expanded in Old English to include skill, dexterity, art, science, talent via a notion of mental power, like they be doing here with playing games with the internet. To try can't frustrate God's work though. They don't want frustrated. That's why they playing games. Was led by late Old English to the meaning trade, handicraft, employment, requiring special skills or dexterity. Also something built or made. The word still was used for might, power. That's why I said the principal powers are now under my dominion. Sign. The meaning small boat is recorded in 1670s, probably from a phrase similar to the vessel of a small craft, referring either to the trade they did or seamanship they required, or perhaps preserves the word to original sense of power. Witch is a noun. Old English Wicca, female magician, sorceress. In latter use, especially a woman supposed to have dealings with the devil or evil spirits, to be able to, by their cooperation, to perform supernatural acts. Phenomenon of Old English Wicca, sorcerer, wizard, man who practiced witchcraft or magic. From Wiccan, to practice witchcraft, compare Low German Wiccan, Wiccan to use witchcraft, wicker, soothsayer. Get a chance, watch the movie The Wicker Man. Tells you all about in that movie. I would say the newer version rather than the old. What's the dude played in the Ghost Rider, the one who played him? OED says of a certain origin. Lieberman says none of the proposed etymologies of which is free from the phonetic and semantic difficulties. Klein suggests connection with Old English wiggle, divination, and idol. The Most High said idols in the world are nothing. He said, but everything you do against this word is idol worship. That's witchcraft. Watkins says the now even marrying them and going and having children with them, that's witchcraft. Trying to shame your lips, your hips, your everything else, and you try to make yourself look European by marrying them, having children with them, that's witchcraft against yourself. I'm talking about Israelites now. Klein suggests connection with Old English wiggle, divination, necromancer, one who wakes the dead. To be live lively. That's what's going on right now in our doomy of the world. People talking about they on demon time, not knowing they are demons. They've been possessed. The Wicca once had a more specific sense than the latter general one of the female position. A lot of black women say, "Yeah, don't make me pull out that old female magic. You're a witch." Sources, perhaps it's suggested by the presence of other words in Old English describing more specific kinds of magic craft. The laws of Alfred in 6th century 890, witchcraft was specifically singled out as a woman's craft, whose practitioners were not to be allowed to live among the West Saxons. The feminine P. Guanio, often well, they got a lot of women, all races doing it. Men too, the wizards. Geocrafting and Sliciation and Wiccan, they let Pool Liban, whatever that is. I don't speak that language. The other two words combined with it here is Gildrich, a woman who practices incarnations. And Sinlex, female wizard, woman magician, from root meaning phantom, evil spirit. Another word that appears in the Anglo-Saxon laws of Lebeca, wizard, sorcerer, with the suggestion of skill in the use of drugs. That's why a lot of times with people in gang stalking, they come in and put drugs in your food and your water while you sleep, and you wake up and you wonder why you feel kind of weird. That's all witchcraft. Medications. That's witchcraft. Libester was a feminine word meaning sorceress. Lipcorn was the name of a certain medicinal seed, perhaps wild suffering. Which notes possible connection to Gothic ways, holy and German winds consecrated. See, that's why they can call themselves the Holy Roman Catholic Church. Holy doesn't mean be separated, set apart. In their case, separated from righteousness. But they still call themselves holy. And writes, the priest of a supposed religion naturally becomes magicians, to its successors or opponents. Whatever the English word origin, the use of a poisoner. And it's on record they poisoned me. That was witchcraft. On several times. Whatever the English word origin, the use of a poisoner, word for witch, sorceress, parallels to the Hebrew word for the use witch, sorceress in the Levitical condemnation. Anglo-Saxon glories, Wicca renders Latin augur, A-U-G-U-R, century 1100, and the Wicca stands for Pythonus, divinatrium. A python is a snake. In the Three Kings of Cologne, century 1400, Wicca translates magi. P. Paynums, Klebit, B. Ich, Niggas, K-Y-N-G-S, Magos. That is to say wicces. The glossary translates to Latin necromantia, demonum, invocia, demon in it, with galdry, witchcraft. The Anglo-Saxon poem called Men's Craft, also the gifts of men. They come from Satan, not God. Because we in sign, we operate on the greatest part, the Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit. Don't need no witchcraft. All we need is the word. The sword. Has witchcraft, which appears to be the same word by its context, meaning skill with horses. In a century 1250 translation of the Exodus, which is used of the Egyptian midwives who saved the newborn sons of the Hebrews. The witches hidden them for Owen, Bifferin, Farinum, Nodin, he been. There's no surprise in that. He said, I'm going to use even these witches, the high order witches, to help my people by telling the truth. They said, don't harm any American Israelites. If you do, don't even follow any orders harm American Israelites. If you do, you're going to end up dead like the Nazi and Nuremberg while they were for God on the left-hand side. But God don't ordain them. Which is reference to the man survived in dialect in 20th century. But the feminine form was so dominant by 1601. That's why a spirit came a long time ago. He said, send me. I'll be a lying spirit in the mouth of all these false prophets. Not me, but the lying spirit. Them. Why? Because the people that ain't going to listen, they're going to lie to them and deceive them. But the feminine form was so dominant by 1601, and the men witches and he witch began to be used, extended sense of old, ugly, and craft or malignant woman from early 15th century, that of a young woman or a girl of bewitching aspect of manners. The way the young women do, they especially they curvation and all, they shake their booty and they twerk and all that kind of stuff to allure you. That's witchcraft. Making suggestions what they're gonna do, what their mouth do, and all that kind of stuff. And if you're interested, you might get lured in. Witch doctors from 1718 applied to African magicians from 1836. This day is indifferent, so that the English tongue, she is a witch, or she is a wise woman. Reginald Scott and Most High don't employ witches. Discovery of Witchcraft, 1584. So if you told you in the book, you remember she said they was surprised to find out that the true Israelites didn't use witchcraft. We don't have to. We got the greatest spirit. Wicca, necromancy, hex, voodoo, enchantment, metamorphosis. 1530s, change of form or structure or action of process of changing in form, originally especially by witchcraft. They can change into birds, animals, bugs, all kinds of things. This is a animal's friend pet insurance. This is something to pop up. I'm looking for AI to pop up as a user too, but they're trying to stop it from popping up. Because that's why I pulled it up. But now they're trying to stop it from popping up. No matter. Anyway, what it said AI as a tool, it said AI, these witches have cats with them. And some of the cats are actually witches that have been taking form as a cat. Specifically black cats, but cats, they can change anything. That's why I say Harry Potter. That stuff you think that Hollywood used, all that stuff is real. I want to look for something real quick. They call familiar spirits. They sit around spying. This is from the I just want to share with you the book here, Exo Vaticano. It says page 130. Let's see how many pages this is right here, because I ain't gonna read it all, because I don't read what I'm doing. I just read a little bit of it. Page 30, 130. Close encounters of the skin-walking, shape-shifting, demonic werewolf kind. The history of elemental beings included incubi and succubi, or alien demons. By their name is often closely associated with a variety of shape-shifting monsters and cryptids, from the Greek crypto, meaning hide, whose existence is difficult to prove by means of their ability to appearance to move in and out of Earth's dimensions, or man's visible spectrum. The human range of sight. God didn't create humans, that's them, the monsters. Example of these would include Yeti in the Himalayas, the famous Bigfoot or Sasquatch of mainly the Pacific Northwest region of North America and Canada, and Loch Ness Monster of Scotland. Hoaxes aside, literally tens of thousands of people throughout history and around the world, including reputable individuals such as clergy, professions, military, law enforcement personnel, even anthropologists have been biological samples of such in hair and footprint evidence, even find recorded the creatures' unidentifiable language and vocalizations, but have up to now failed to capture a single physical specimen. Witness testimonies often include reports of fantastic sizes, from enormous dragons in the sea to giant bipeds ranging in height from 8 to 12 feet, with footprints up to 24 inches. And then there are phenomena frequently connected with the appearance of cryptids that are tidbits of occult activity, a rushing of sophisticated odor, mysterious rapping of the walls and windows, even cats stomping on people's ceilings when the people are not here. Shadows and ghosts in marriage. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not lying to you. And I don't use drugs. Don't drink. These cats in this house. I was sitting there watching TV. You know, I was sitting in the direction in what's called the living room. I was sitting in the direction. Look, because sometimes I'll be watching all around. I'll be watching TV. I'll be watching everything. Let me put the right in. Everything. So as I'm sitting there watching TV, I see the cats come down there. They walk past the place where where my TV and stuff in the room in there. I'm watching TV, but I'm still watching them too. You know, like so I'm watching you, but I can see that couch back there and all that TV right to the left, right, and all that stuff. So I'm watching everything. These cats did not come back to go upstairs. They went that way towards the front and didn't come back. Then later, I was watching, they came downstairs again. And one cat growls like a lion. I mean, like a tiger. In a little body like a cat. It says, and then there are the phenomena frequently connected with the appearance of cryptids that are typical of occult activity. A retching of sulfuric odor, mysterious rapping on the walls and windows, shaping and ghostly lights inside or outside the homes, disembodied voices, levitation or disappearance of the furniture and other household items, etc. Possibly the earliest account of the Bigfoot sighting in the U.S. was published in 125 years ago. An historical pamphlet that told of frontiermen coming across a wild man in the Siskoyi Mountains of Northern California. Things of gigantic size, often 7 feet tall, a bulldog head, short ears, and long hair. It was also furnished with a beard and was free from hair, free form hair, on such parts of his body as in common among men. Another barely known confrontation was with a large, hairy bite was actually reported in President Theodore Roosevelt, an avid outdoorman. Noah Hutchins writes of this event. The story appeared in the Wilderness Hunter, published in 1893. The account was given by Roosevelt related to some kind of wild beast that killed a man and had eaten half of his body in a mountain range. Matter of fact, Scripture talks about that, talking about eating men. I don't know where it's at, but I read it before. Let me see if I can pull it up and pull it real quick. I would have to look it up. I'm gonna read this is section 3. When chariots of the gods appear. Chapter of it says, let me see, what's this? Section 3, chapter 12. First excursion. This is now, like I said, I'm a witness to the truth of a chariot of God that actually came to visit me when I was 7. My grandma was there too at the time. Proven in the books, the sealed book of Mormon, chapter 3, verse 2, where the chariots of God come to visit the prophets. But not all chariots are of God. Some are man-made by Esau. It's the first incursion of the chariots of the fallen star gods. The birds skipped among the grove of date palm along the marshy banks of the Euphrates in the year 3500 BC. As the sun rose above summer, the alluvial desert of the Middle East came alive with agricultural activity. In the valley forged between the twin rivers of the Tigris and Euphrates, magnificent walled cities awoke the chatter of busy streets and marketplaces. See what's going on right now in the time, especially he said those of us crossed over, angels on earth, in the flesh. Paul said, in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. That's what's going on right now. This is really a real life Harry Potter experience, man. What the Greeks would later call Mesopotamia, between the rivers. The world's first great center of civilization had developed. The opulent Sumerian cities of Ur, the home of Abram, Uruk, and Lachish, had become the economic machine of the ancient Middle East. Industry from far away as Jericho, near Mesopotamian Sea, cattle and Halyak in Asia Minor competed for the trade opportunities they provided. Laborers from the biblical city of Jericho exported salt into summer. The miner from cattle Halyak prepared obsidian used in making mirrors for shipment into ancient metropolis, Lecky. Metropolis, is that where Superman comes from? or where you work from, or. But while the prehistoric people of the East looked to the Sumerians for their supply of daily bread, the Sumerians themselves gazed heavenward, as they had from time immemorial, to the early rising of Uta, Shamash, and all providing sun god, as he prepared once again to ride across the sky in his flying chariot. And in 3500 BC, Uti were not alone among the gods. Don't be surprised, this people. It's on the sealed portion that our Father God, and he said he won't mention the others, but other people, gods made their images. They made their images of their gods. So don't be surprised if our God, right, but the God of gods, Yahweh, the other ones do the same thing. But now the Sumerian Pantheon provided the earliest known description of organized mythology, consisting of a complex system of more than 3,000 deities, covering nearly every detail of nature and human enterprise. There were gods of sunshine and of rain. There were vegetation gods, fertility gods, river gods, animal gods, gods of the afterlife. And this is Baal or El. There were the great gods, Enlil, prince of the air, Anu, ruler of the heavens, Enki, the god of water, and so on. Under these existed a second level of deities, including Nanor, the moon god, Uti, the sun god, and Ina, the queen of heaven and the mother of goddess, who much later would be called by some Mary, the queen of heaven, the mother of Jesus Christ. It ain't our Yahweh. And it's not Miriam either, our real mother. Having so noted that this is the big question, can't you see now how the demons always can deceive people? Having so noted, and this is the big question, where did the gods of Samaria come from? Since the religion of Samaria was the first known organized mythology and would greatly influence the foundational beliefs of the forthcoming nations of Babylon, Assyria, Egypt, Greece, Rome, and ancient Hebrews, and others. This question has interested scholars and historians, but there's only one true and living God. This question has interested scholars and historians for more than a millennium. Specifically, where does one find the historical beginning of the ancient gods of Samaria? Were the Sumerian deities the product of... No, I'm going to show you where it came from. The real living God. John 8, verses 48 to 59. I'm going to read through 50. Then answered the Jews and said to him, say we not well that you are a Samaritan and has a devil? Yahweh answered, I have not a devil, but I honor my Father. You dishonor me. I seek not my own glory, but there is one that seeketh and judges. Who is that? That's Ephraim, the northern kingdom. From the root of Jesse, from the throne of David. The Sumerians, that's what Most High said, don't go to learn the way of the heathens, but go to the lost sheep house of Israel, the northern kingdom. So whether Sumerian deities, the product of human imagination, or the distortion of some earlier prehistoric revelation? Whether the mythologizing of certain ancient heroes, or, as some believe today, the result of an extraterrestrial alien visitation whose appearance gave birth to the legends of mythological gods. Equally important that the sudden appearance of these deities reflect a literal intrusion into man's reality by supernatural power, or were they purely the creation of a primitive imaginations? These questions are both fascinating and difficult, since the gods and the goddesses of ancient Sumeria, Mesopotamia, continue to be shrouded in a history of unknown origins. It was as though from out of nowhere, the Sumerians sprang into the scene over 5,500 years ago, bringing with them what seemed like overnight the first written language. It talks about this in seal portion as well. Maybe I'll use this again and I'll bring that out the seal portion about Mesopotamia. Most I said the same. It was as though from out of nowhere, the Sumerians sprang into the scene over 5,500 years ago, bringing with them what seemed like overnight the first written language and a corpus of progressive knowledge from the complicated religious concept of an advanced understanding of astrology, chemistry, and mathematics. The questionable origin of Sumerian culture, thus called some theorists, conclude that the gods of Sumeria, subsequent mythologies that grew out of them, were the diabolical scheme of the ancient presence that arrived on earth, something we would call a falling star. If this is true, does this power persist with the parallel dimensions of our world? The Book of Remembrance tells us that heaven and earth is parallel. Thus, in the body, out of the body, I can't tell, because this is a real live Harry Potter thing going on around here, man. I already told you back in 2017 when I started seeing the gold. No, you might think I'm telling the truth though. I was sitting just like I'm sitting like right now, like when I was sitting watching them cats and TV. I was sitting in 2017 in Lancaster, California, watching TV. And then all of a sudden, it started lightning in my living room. This might sound outlandish to you, but this is real. And I don't use drugs. Don't drink, none of that. So I'm sitting there watching TV. Calm like I am right now. It started lightning in my living room. So I remained calm. Then it lightning. I didn't get up while I was lightning. So I'm just sitting there watching the lightning going on in my living room. Like this. Once it stopped lightning, I went up to the window and looked out. It wasn't raining or lightning. Only in my living room. Once again, I don't use drugs. Never have. Don't drink. None of that. This is a real live Harry Potter thing going on right here, man. Only thing is, from God, it's not magic. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Sometimes I'll be sitting around there waiting, just trying to prepare myself, because I'll expect an angel or somebody from high to pop up any moment. So I'll be trying to get myself braced so when it happens. Sometimes I'll be sitting running around waiting to see if I'm gonna just bust out with some wings or something. Matter of fact, they sent the spook agency in 2017 and said, yeah, we made something just for you. Because they already know who I am. Then they gave me one of them Iron Man things, like they actually did it. But I pulled it out of it, right there while he's sitting there. A European too came in there and did that. And opposites of, because at the time they was trying to, they had I was going to go in and start doing fingerprints and all that kind of stuff. You know, with the technology and stuff they got, I was going to go in that business. But he came in under the guise as that and hit me one of them things like this. I pulled out of. Even when I was at one of somebody's house, I should knowing that cast. He did hit me one of those too. I pulled out in front of him like that. They can't hold me. Not lying to you. It was as though, back to page 315, first incursion of the chariots of the fallen star gods. The question are both fascinating and difficult. Since the gods and the goddess of ancient Sumeria and Mesopotamia continue to be shrouded in a history of unknown origins, well, it's in the scriptures, the sealed portion. It's not sealed no more. And a subsequent mythology that grew out of them, with a diabolical scheme of the ancient presence that arrived on Earth, something we would call a falling star. This is true. Does this power persist within the parallel dimensions of our world? I already told you, and I ain't lied to you. In 2017, when I was, what was it? When I was 7 years old. Somehow, me and my grandma just looked at each other and walked outside, and we looked out. It was a chariot sitting there over the north side of the house. It wasn't no far away either. Right there, I can see everything on it. It's almost they went like this. So I got this feeling almost went like this to me. When I saw it, my grandmother saw it. They went like this. Boop, boop, boop. It wasn't going one round. It was hitting angles. Like, boop, 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 out of there. Hit a portal, was gone. That's the truth, though. And it was in the daytime. Because I heard somebody say they only come at night. Nah, this one came at day. About 7 or something in the morning. Or Grand Rise. Ain't no need me lying to you. I ain't got to. I remember one time my auntie Linda, I think it was like in 1972 or something. I remember 69, 70, 69, 70, 71. I was probably about 3 years old. She told me when the house started shaking real bad, Los Angeles, California. Everybody ran out the house. But she said when she looked out the window, I don't know what day or night, I don't know what time it was. She didn't tell me. But she said when she got out to run out the house, she said our ancient ancestor named LV, my grandmother's brother, who had been passed away, said, "Don't forget the baby," because he appeared out the window. So she went back and got me and took me out the house with them. I'm not talking about their brother OZ. His name was OC, like O'Shea, OC, but I just call him OZ. I didn't know. All that time until I read the scriptures. I just know OZ. His name was OC. Book of Mormon, chapter 3, verse 2. It was then that Moses passed to be in a great universe. See, I'm not always trying to pump up stuff, make it seem away. I'm just saying true stories. It's not a story. But yet it's the greatest story ever told. It's true. And I tell you these testimonies, that's true, and I come back and find scriptures I didn't know before that proves that what I saw was true. Book of Mormon, chapter 3, verse 2. It was then that Moses passed to be in a great universal meeting, which Ahiah, the angel whose name means brother of Yahweh, great leader of who covered his expansion in the class of anointed cherub, chief commander of the flaming stones, until the day he was disposed from his office, kicked out of heaven, out of authority. In the supervision of heavenly visits to the sons of Israel, was delivered to the angel Gabriel, who commanded them for by 2 months generation of Israel, when they were walking by the circuits of heaven, with chariots of fire, visited the prophets of God, for the wisdom proceeding from the highest caste of the other star of Dalva, had full access to Mount Sinai. Today he overturned the old covenant, and vehemently accused the great Yahweh, usurping the rights of free will in all beings created by him. Wait a minute, all beings created by him? What is the other beings that he didn't create? That's why I say I'm the God of Israel and none else. And vehemently accused the great Yahweh of usurping the rights of free will in all beings created by him in a vast expanse of the universe. How much he himself came seeking to destroy free will of man through the beginning. That was Satan did that. Lucifer, the devil. Back to page 315. If this is true, this power persists within parallel dimensions of our world, due to primordial and living things, once worshipped as gods, continue observing man? Well, the Red Sea before said those who fly in between this world and the parallel world, becoming spy on man, specifically Israel, to see, make sure we doing what we're supposed to be doing, in the world to judge. They go back and report to the Father. Do they scheme a present or to repeat on a grander scale? Something they did once before? When man soon experienced something unexpected on a universal level, causing, they say humans, but God created man, causing humans to focus intently on the skies and manifested flying wonders that winged Genesis inside them. They said they came from Orion, Pleiades, and Zeta Reticuli. Page 316 of Exo Vaticana. Among scholars, there are three competing theories regarding the origin of the early mythical gods. The humorous view, too. Oh, yeah, let me tell you another thing, too. Like, I remember this Lorenzo Dixon. I ain't putting him out there. I'm just saying he was there. I was going to play for Jefferson. We was preparing to go play for Jefferson High School in Los Angeles. But we was up in Manuel's Art one summer. And, we all had our shirts off. We were sweating, lifting weights. I backed up, and I just felt a big old surge of electricity go through my body. I turned around. It was a big old socket. Then it had no covering. It was just wires. Back then, they called me Scooby. They said, "Damn, Scooby, you trying to kill yourself before football season?" I wasn't trying to kill nothing. They should have that socket cover. But praise the Almighty, it didn't kill me. I didn't even feel it. I just felt, but I didn't fall out nothing. They was there. They saw it. And yeah, by the way, I don't need nobody conjured up nothing to make it to see if it's gonna happen again. I don't want that experience. I'm not gonna test the Almighty just for your experiments, and I'm not giving you authorization to test me either. So among scholars, there are three competing theories regarding the origin of the early mythological gods. One, euphemerius view. Two, the ancient astronaut theory. And three, the biblical view. Well, I'll take three. The biblical view, rightly divided by the word of truth. And the other ones, I consider them if they agree with the biblical view. That means they confess by necessity. The euphemous view was based on the historical theories of the Greek scholar Euhemerus, who claimed that the pagan gods originated with certain ancient and famous kings who were later defied. The more widely adopted theories, the ancient astronauts theory, and alternatively, so guess what? I'm getting you information and true. They overcame by the blood of the Lamb, by the words. This is a true, my true testimony. If you don't accept it or not, that's on you. to the more widely adopted theories, the ancient astronomist theory and alternatively, the biblical view of the origin of alternative deities, has succeeded to become the popular authorities regarding the original paganism, and are therefore the beginning of our investigation to a larger. That's why they called us pagans, because we only live in our test by the word of God and our testimonies. They didn't agree with Catholicism, or they knew the truth about who we really are. Sion. Have you ever read your gods? Back to page 16. Have succeeded to become the popular authorities regarding the original paganism. Now, therefore, beginning to our investigation to a larger, potentially imminent phenomenon. One that took the authors of this work from moldy quarters in forgotten libraries to the Vatican's advanced technology. See a portion talking about they got technology this day. Where it come from? The Vatican. That they borrowed a portion from the Father based on nature. The Vatican's advanced technology telescope, a large binocular telescope with its new Lucifer instrument. Lucifer in all capital letters. Infernal infrared, notwithstanding a growing doctrine within the modern ufology. Ufology is a noun. Study of UFOs. 1956 from UFO plus ology plus logy. UFO is a noun. 1953 is an abbreviation of unidentified flying object, which is tested from 1950 in the popular flying saucer sense. And the one I saw looked like a flying saucer. It didn't look like these modern ones. The one that came to visit me when I was 7. Infernal infrared, notwithstanding, a growing doctrine within the modern ufology claims that the true origin of the gods and the human race, God didn't create humans, as we know it today, is a direct result of extraterrestrial UFO activity. In the introduction of his best-selling book, Chariots of the Gods, Erich von Däniken, Daniken, who it might be argued is one of the fathers of the modern ufology, said, I claim that our forefathers received visits from the universe in the remote past, even though I do not yet know who these extraterrestrial intelligences were. What the Most High says. Abraham 3:18 going down to our stop. Howbeit that he made the greater star, as also if there be two spirits, and one should be more intelligent than the other. Yet these two spirits, notwithstanding one is more intelligent than the other, have no beginning. Who's that? Melchizedek priesthood. Without beginning of days or without end of days. Which Yahweh is part of, which I'm a part of. The other spirit is Esau. The devil. Yet these two spirits, notwithstanding, one is more intelligent than the other. Having no beginning, they existed before. They shall have no end. They shall exist after they are nolium or eternal. Nolium is a transliteration of a Hebrew word meaning eternal. You're looking at an eternal right now. There you go, boasting again. No, I'm going to read the truth, and that's based on the word of God and my own testimony. That's true. I'm reading it to you. Sion. I know he said, your God sent his angel to deliver you from the hand of the priest of Elkanah. Abraham 1:15, as they lifted up their hands upon me, that they might offer me up and take away my life. Behold, I lifted up my voice unto Enoch, said, my God. Enoch said, hearken and heard. He said, those who hearkened and heard and thought upon his name, he gave them a book of remembrance. And these he'll make up his jewels. Enoch said, hearken and heard, and he filled me with the vision of the Almighty. And the angel of his presence stood by me. Immediately unloosed my bands. I dwell in the midst of them. I'm the God of Israel and none else. Joel 2:27. And you should know that I'm in the midst of Israel. Melchizedek priesthood. Without beginning of days or end of years. And I'm Lord, he said, your God, and none else. My people should never be ashamed. Abraham 3:21, and I dwell in the midst of them all. And now, therefore have I come down unto you to declare unto you the works which my hands has made. See, this is the way the Spirit went today. It's because I didn't plan on doing this. Because I wrote down other things that's still good, but he went this way. So I follow. Like I said in the book of Revelation, chapter 12 and 14. He said, these are the ones that go which way the Spirit goes. Talking about 144,000 high priests. Seal portion 35 and 128. Therefore, thus says Enoch said, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob should not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. When he see his children, the work of my hands, when he see his children, the work of my hands, I'm the God of Israel and none else. Sion. In the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob. and shall fear the God of Israel. They also the erred in spirit shall come to understanding. They that murmur shall learn doctrine. Abraham 3:21. I dwell in the midst of them all. I now, therefore, have come down unto you, declare you the works which my hands have made. Doctrine and Covenants 88:45-47. And the earth rose up on her wings. The sun giveth his light by day. The moon giveth her light by night. The stars also give their light, as they roll upon their wings in their glory, in the midst of the power of God. Unto what shall I liken these kingdoms, that you may understand? Behold, all these are the kingdoms, and any man who has seen any of the least of these has seen God moving in his majesty and power. Moses 1:27-28. And it came to pass, as the voice was speaking, Moses cast his eyes and beheld the earth, yea, even all of it. There was not a particle of it which he did not behold, discerning it by the Holy Spirit of God. Wherein my wisdom accepted them all. Job 12:7-25. You can read that on your own because I got to keep on moving. Also, 2 Nephi 9-8. I'm not going to get caught up reading too much, so I won't get to the rest of the information I'm bringing. For I rule in the heavens above. Perfection of God. Kingdom of God in heaven. On earth. And in the earth beneath. And all wisdom and prudence over all the intelligence your eyes have seen from the beginning. I came down in the beginning in the midst of all the intelligence that you have seen, that I just read about. Through even Exo Vaticana. Now, notice that it has shown unto me, Abraham, the intelligence that were formed before the world was. Example, counsel in heaven, intelligent man, anti-mortal existence of man, a spirit child of Heavenly Father, spirit creation. And among these were many of the noble and great ones. Doctrine and Covenants 138-55. And I observed that they were also among the noble and great ones who were chosen in the beginning to be rulers in the church of God. Go to Webster 1828 dictionary for race. Race is a noun, Latin radius having the same original. This word coincides in origin with rod, ray, radiate, etc. The lineage of a family or continued series of descendants from a parent is called the stock. A race is a series of descendants indefinitely, thus all mankind are called the race of Adam. Semicolon, therefore, the Israelites are the race of Abraham and Jacob. Thus we speak of a race of kings, a race of Clovis, or Charlemagne, a race of nobles, etc. My daughter there grooving, boy, got that. She's up there, got that harmony, right? Make a brother want to do like this. 1 Peter 2:9, Amplified Bible, Amplified. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a consecrated nation, a special people for God's own possession. So may proclaim the excellencies and wonderful deeds and virtues and perfections of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Abraham 3 and 22. And now Anoki had shown unto me, Abraham, the intelligences that were organized before the world was. And among these were the many of the noble and great ones. And God saw that these souls were good. He stood in the midst of them. I'm the midst of Israel. I'm the God of Israel and none else. In Zion. And he said, these will I make my rulers. For he stood among those that were spirits. And he saw that they were good. He said to me, Abraham, you are one of them. You was chosen before you was born. Isaiah 49, 1 through 5. Listen to owls unto me, and hearken unto you people from afar, from far. I know he said, it's called me from the womb. From the bowels of my mother has he made mention of my name. He has made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand he has hidden and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver has he hidden me. He said to me, you are my servant, no longer a bondservant, but a son, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Galatians 4 and 7. You're no longer a bondservant, but a son. Galatians 4 and 7 amplified. Therefore, you're no longer a slave, a bondservant, but a son. And if a son, then also an heir through the gracious acts of God, through the Messiah. And he said to me, you are my son, O Israel. Jeremiah 31 and 9. They should come with weeping and with supplication will I lead them. I'll cause them to walk by the rivers of water in the straight way, when it should not stumble. For my father Israel, Ephraim is my firstborn. And he said unto me, you are my son, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught. In vain, yet surely my judgment is with Anoki said, and my work with my God. See, you wouldn't on this earth to go to work for the Esau. I'm doing the work I'm supposed to be doing. And now says Anoki said that for me, that's you too, Sion. Now says Anoki said that formed me from the womb to be his son. For my prophets are men. To bring Jacob again to him. Though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of Anoki said, and my God shall be my strength. Jeremiah 1 and 5. Before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. Before you came forth out of the womb, I sanctified you. Romans 8:29-33, Amplified. Now ordained you a prophet unto the nations of Israel. Moses 1:25. And called upon the name of God, he beheld his glory again, who was upon him. He heard a voice saying, Blessed are you, Moses, for I, the Almighty, have chosen you. You should be made stronger than many waters. For they shall obey the command of as if you were God. Who is the many waters? Idumea, the world, the sea. They've been converted back to me, Sion. Isaiah chapter 60:5. CV. Moses 3:5. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, every herb of the field before it grew. For I, your God, Anoki created all things, which I have spoken spiritually before they were naturally upon the face of the earth. Like this word is going forth, it ain't gonna return void. It's gonna appear to you just like he said it in the flesh or in the temporal world. For I know, said God, has not caused it to rain upon the face of the earth. For I know, said God, had not caused it to rain upon the face of the earth, and I know, he said God, had created all children of men, Israel, not yet a man to till the ground. See, Esau was here to till the ground. But they switched it and made you do it through their lives. For in heaven not created I them, there was not yet flesh upon the earth, neither was in the water, nor in the air. Talk about the elect of God for the nation. And there's still one among them that was like unto God. He says to those who are with him, we'll go down, and there is space there. We'll take these materials and we'll make an earth that these may dwell. Created how the Messiah, which has a priesthood. Purpose of the earth. St. Edras, chapter 7 and 10. I said, that is right, Anoki said. He said to me, so also is Israel's portion. For make the world for their sake. Then Adam transgressed my statute that had been made was judged. Who is that? The fallen man. That's why the quickening spirit, the second Adam, Yahweh, came back with the quickening spirit to restore Israel again. And the fallen man got to get destroyed. Idumea, the world. Back to page 316 of Exo Vaticana by Dr. Chuck Missler. I was like it with introduction from Dr. Chuck Missler. This book was written by Chris Putnam and Thomas Horn. Back to page 316. Library to the Vatican's Advanced Technology Scale Telescope and the large binocular telescope with its new Lucifer instrument. Infernal, infrared, notwithstanding, a growing doctrine within modern ufology, claims the true origin of the gods, God didn't create humans, he created man. And the human race, as we know it today, is the direct result of extraterrestrial UFO activity and the introduction of its best-selling book, Chariots of the Gods. Erich von Däniken, who it might be argued is one of the fathers of modern ufology, said, I claim that our forefathers received visits from the universe in the remote past, even though I do not know who these extraterrestrial intelligences were. Well, I just read it to you out the scriptures, or from which planet they came. I nevertheless proclaim that these strangers annihilated part of the mankind existent in time and produced a new, perhaps the first Homo sapiens. As was illustrated in the Hollywood film Contact and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Von Däniken's hypothesis took America by storm. Starting in the 1960s with the proposition that mankind was possibly the offspring of an ancient. Michael Adam. Daniel 7:22 amplified, until the ancient days came. And judgment was passed in favor of the saints of the Most High God. Time arrived when the saints, the believers, took possession of the kingdom. That's now. As was illustrated in page 316, as was illustrated in the Hollywood film Contact, in Close Encounter of the Third Kind, von Däniken's hypothesis took America by storm, starting with 1960 with the proposition that mankind was possibly the offspring of an ancient. Back to Webster 1828 dictionary, mankind, race. Race is a noun. We already went through all that already. The lineage of a family or a continued series of descendants from a parent is called a stock. A race is a series of descendants from indefinitely, thus mankind, are called the race of Adam. That's the Israelites. Adam was the first Israelite. I already defined it for you. Etymology. The Israelites are the race of Abraham and Jacob. Thus we speak of a race of kings, a race of Clovis, of Solomon, a race of nobles, etc. Page 316. It was illustrated in the Hollywood film Contact and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Von Däniken's hypothesis took America by storm, started in 1960 with the proposition of that mankind, the Israelites, was possibly the offspring of an ancient. Who is that? Michael, Adam, Melchizedek priesthood, the father. Enoch said, created by Yahweh in the flesh. Created by Melchizedek priesthood. I just read it to you. He said, we'll make them down there. We're in space. We in space. We in outer space. He just made it so wonderfully you can't tell it. The earth is setting on nothing in outer space. Colossians 1, 16-20. By him were all things created, that are in heaven or that are in the earth, visible and invisible, whether it be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. That's where they work from on the left-hand side, whether they know it or not. Who are the deceivers? Japheth and Esau, specifically Japheth. The modern day Europeans. That's the truth, though. It reads it in the book of Remembrance of Melchizedek. It said, Japheth is deceived. That's the isles of the Gentiles. Genesis 10, 1-5. I ain't got to read that already before. Go find it. It's on one of the videos. I don't work for you. I did my job. It's on videos. I already read it before. You want to listen, that's your part. So both the deceiver and the deceived are his. Job 12-16. True wisdom and power belongs to him. Yes, strength and wisdom are his. Deceivers and the deceived are both his power. With him are strength and sound wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. Job 12-16. If you deceive, that's God wants you to be deceived. Because you don't keep his commandments. And if you're a deceiver, you work for God on the left-hand side. But the elect is not deceived. Why I read to you in the still portion, chapter 4 and 52-53. It's an elect to know, that's now not deceived. Wow, we got this information. I'm reading it to you. Colossians 1, 16-20. By him were all things created, that in heaven or that in the earth, visible and invisible, whether be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things. And by him are all things consist. He is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead. Ephraim is my firstborn. Israel is my firstborn. In all things he might have the preeminence. For it pleased the Father that in him should all the fullness dwell. That's why I'm reading the foot of the gospel, so it can dwell in you. If it be in you. But first you got to receive it. If you don't receive it, the fullness can't be in you. And having made peace through the blood of his cross, that's called the atonement. By him to reconcile all things to himself. Who is all things? His body. By him, and say whether they be things in the earth or things in heaven. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We rule over our oppressors. Isaiah chapter 14, 1-2, CV. So I got scriptures for everything I'm saying. And it's not out of context. Back to page 16 of 316 of Exo Vaticana. Perhaps ongoing extraterrestrial experiment. That's what gang stalking is. On the elect. Ufologists like von Däniken assert that the gods of mythology themselves may have been evidence of, and a reaction to, an encounter with other world beings. He means by this that the ancient men would have considered space travelers as gods. Told you the truth. I got to give my testimony again, whether you believe it or not. It's the truth, at least in my dream. But it felt real. I went to the Father's planet on at least 3 occasions. Twice in a spaceship. One time I was I was on the ship that when I was taken there. Another time I traveled one myself. Then one time that was really, really scary. I wasn't in the ship at all. I was flying there without a ship. That was scary. Then one time, when I got there, it was, you know how I'm just gotta give you an earthly example for what I saw in heaven in my dream. And this was several dreams, it wasn't the same dream. Just like at the post office where they have a bunch of postal trucks parked in a certain section, that's where the chariots were. It was a certain section for all the chariots to park. Ufologists like von Däniken assert that the gods of mythology themselves may have been evidence of, and a reaction to, and an encounter with other world beings. It means by this that the ancient men would have considered space travelers as gods. We recorded their arrival, their experiments. Why do you think when the child is born, they have date of birth and all these things? Because they take your blood to see who you are or what kind are you. And the ones that's the gods, that's what they're interested in. Negroes who are Israelites. And among the Negroes, the ones that's chosen by God, the Father. Called Israelites, Sion. He means that by this, the ancient men, that's why they always trying to tell you and come and take blood samples. Come and let me let me draw some blood. He means by this the ancient men would have considered space travelers as gods and would have recorded their arrival, their experiments, and their departure in hieroglyphs, megaliths, and stone tablets as a supernatural encounter between the gods and men. Gods and men. Enrich von Däniken continues. While the spaceship disappears again into the mist of the universe, our friends will talk about the miracle. The gods were here. They'll make a record of what happened. Uncanny, weird, miraculous. Then their text will relate, and drawings will show that gods in golden clothes were there in a flying boat that landed with a tremendous din. They will write about chariots which the gods drove around land and sea, and terrifying weapons that were like lightning. Psalm 68, 4 through 14. I'll read 4 through 5. Singing to God. Sing praises to his name. Extol him who rideth upon the heavens by his name, Yah. Rejoice before him. A father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows. His God and his holy habitation. In the midst of Israel and none else. So while the page 317, while the spaceship disappears again into the midst of the universe, our friends will talk about the miracle. The gods were here. That's what you're doing now. Everybody's fascinated. You ain't seen nothing yet, though. Told you. Hey, if you're interested, start get a stock in toilet paper. Gonna be a lot of boo-boo in pants while people was walking around. They'll make a record of what happened, uncanny, weird, miraculous. Then their text will relate, and drawings will show that the gods in golden clothes were there in a flying boat that landed with a tremendous din. Told you when I woke in 2017, all I saw was gold flakes. The pages of the word awake in Isaiah chapter 52 and 53 rose on the page in golden letters. All I was saying was gold flakes all day for a while. Every time I was just saying little flakes of gold. Like in the Prince video. Everything they glitter, saying gold. But I was saying gold just like that, like little flakes. So while the spaceship disappears again into the midst of the universe, our friends will talk about the miracle. The gods were here. They'll make a record of what happened, uncanny, weird, miraculous. Then their text will relate. And drawings will show. The gods in golden clothes were there. In a flying boat, they landed with a tremendous din. They'll write about the chariots which the gods drove over land and sea, and a terrifying weapon that were like lightning. They will recount the gods' promise to return. They will hammer and chisel in the rock pictures of what they had seen. Shapeless giants with helmets and rod on their heads, carrying boxes in front of their chest, balls on which indefiably beings sit and ride through the air, staves from which rays are shot out if from a sun. Around the world, ancient records repeat such stories of flying craft which bore the gods throughout the galaxies. For example, the Metternich stela, a magical stela from the 13th dynasty of Egypt, currently housed as part of the Egyptian collection of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, tells the story of a heavenly boat of millions of years, which describes the celestial disk that transported the Egyptian gods like Isis and Thoth. In ancient Chinese folklore, we find a distant land where flying carts originate, while Sanskrit texts, the Drona Parva, actually document dog fights by gods and flying machines. In Hindu mythology, these gods travel in the cosmos in flying vehicles called Vimanas, which are mentioned many times in the Ramayana, dating approximately the 4th century BC, from the book 6, Canto, CXX1III, the magic car we find. It's not the wondrous chariot mine named Pushpak, wrought by hands divine, This chariot, kept with the utmost care, will waft you through the fields of air. You shall light unwearied down in air, Ayodias, royal town. Then from the book 6 of Canto C, X, I, V, the departure. Swift through the air, as Rama chose, the wondrous cars from earth arose, and decked with swans and silver wings, bore through the clouds its fright of kings. Numerous other ancient sources describing flying machines associated with gods. We'll discuss some of these later in this work. But men like von Decken go further, claiming the Holy Bible itself is the best record and the greatest UFO book of all time. The wheel in Ezekiel 1 and 15, and the pillar of cloud. Exodus 13, 21 to 22, and Elijah's chariot of fire. And 2 Kings 2 and 11 are all viewed as examples of UFO sightings by such researchers. Additionally, von Däniken believes that the odd appearance of some of the gods is depicted in various hieroglyph, human-like creatures with falcon heads. That's not our gods. That's the Egyptians' gods. Lions with heads of bulls, etc., can be viewed as evidence the aliens who visit the earth in celestial transport devices. Matter of fact, if you read the books of remembrance of the first and second book of Lecky, they talk about how Yahweh swept the earth with them gods, wiped his ass with them. So I'm here. My defense is of God. Fuck them other ones. Psalm 7, 10 through 12. My defense is of God, Anoki said, which saveth the upright in heart. God judges the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day. He judges the righteous with all things. That's good. Well, that's my father. I'm on his side. And Michael Sheldon. Can be viewed as evidence of the aliens with visited Earth in celestial transport devices. Also conducted genetic experiments on ancient people and animals. Who you think doing the experimenting? These devils. That's the Dekadacha, the fallen bullies, the fallen angels in flesh. Cross-mutating and transgenically altering them. See, some see this aspect of the fallen angel theory is based on part of the Genesis chapter 6, the angel theory, which postulates mutant mighty men were born to rebel rebel angels known as watchers. These powerful beings, according to the early Christians, church fathers, and growing list of modern writers, mingled their matter with humans, giving birth to part celestial, part terrestrial hybrids called Nephilim. That's them. That's what the Most High sent me, Melchizedek priesthood, the gods. pure angels in flesh. Of archangels in flesh. That's what the war in heaven was all about. Angels fighting in flesh on earth. This happened when men began to increase on earth and daughters were born to them. When the sons of God saw the women's beauty, they took wives from among the sire, their unusual offspring. In Genesis 6 and 4, we read the following account. There were giants in the earth in those days. Also after that, when the sons of God came